Hello, students, and welcome. Have you ever stopped to think about how the food on your plate was grown or how the clothes you're wearing were actually made? Well, that's exactly what economics helps us understand. It's really the story of how we make and use all the things around us. And to make this story simple and interesting, we are going to learn about a small, imaginary village called Palampur. So let's take a trip to this village, Palampur. Now, I want you to remember that Palampur is not a real village you can find on a map. It's a hypothetical, an imaginary village, but it has been created based on how real villages in India actually are. This makes it a perfect example for us to understand how a village economy really works. As we explore Palampur, I'm sure it will remind you of a village you might have seen or heard about. So, what is this village of Palampur like? Let's get to know it a little better and see what makes its economy tick. Palampur is actually quite well developed. It has good roads that connect it to nearby towns, which is very important. This means people can travel and farmers can take their crops to bigger markets. Most of the houses have electricity, which is a huge deal. It runs the tube wells for the farms and helps small businesses run. Palampur also has schools for children and a basic health center for when people get sick. All these facilities together form the backbone of the village. Okay, so we know Palampur has roads, electricity, and schools. But think about this. How did these things actually help the people there earn a living? Well, all these facilities, they support one main activity, and that is the production of goods and services. You see all the things happening in Palampur: a farmer growing wheat in his field, a family selling milk from their cows, a shopkeeper selling biscuits. All these different activities are part of one big concept, and that concept is called production. So what does this word production actually mean? Well, in very simple terms, the goal of production is to create the goods and services that we all want and need. When a farmer grows a crop, that is production. When a potter makes a pot, that is also production. The idea is to make something that is useful to others. Now, to produce anything, whether it's a simple crop or a complicated computer, we need certain basic things. You can think of it like a recipe. To cook a dish, you need ingredients, right? In the same way, in economics, we need 4 essential ingredients or requirements to produce anything. We call these the factors of production. Let's just pause and think for a moment. If you wanted to start a small business, maybe making and selling something simple like lemonade, what would you need? You'd need some basic things to get started, wouldn't you? So let's break down what these essential requirements are. The very first requirement, the first factor, is land. Now, when we say land in economics, we don't just mean a piece of ground. It actually means all the gifts of nature. This includes the soil a farmer uses, the water from a river for irrigation, the forests, and even the minerals we dig up from the earth. All these natural resources come under land. And here is a very, very important point about land. It is a fixed resource. We cannot just make more land when we want to. This is a fundamental challenge, especially in activities like farming that depends so much on natural resources. All right, the second requirement is labor. You can have all the land and resources in the world, but if there are no people to work, then nothing will get produced. Labor is the human effort, both physical and mental, that goes into making something. A farmer working in the field, a teacher in a school, a worker in a factory, all of them are providing their labor. And, labor can be of different types. Some jobs need a lot of physical effort, what we call manual work. Think of a construction worker or a farmer plowing a field. Other jobs need special education and training. We call this skilled work, for example, a doctor or an engineer. Both types of labor are very important for production. The third requirement is called physical capital. Now, this refers to all the man-made things that we use during production. So it's not just money. It includes everything from simple tools like a spade to very complex machines in a factory. It's the physical items we create to help us produce more. Physical capital is divided into 2 main types. It is very important to understand the difference between them. The 2 types are fixed capital and working capital. Let's break this down slowly. Fixed capital includes items that can be used in production for many years. They are a long-term investment. For example, a farmer's tractor, the building of a factory, or big machines. They're not used up in one go. On the other hand, working capital consists of things that get used up during the production process. This includes raw materials like seeds for a farmer or cotton for a weaver, and also the money needed for daily payments. Let's take another example from a factory to make this clear. Imagine a factory that makes cloth. The large weaving machines, they will last for many, many years, so they are fixed capital. But the yarn, which is woven into cloth, is a raw material. It gets used up, so that is working capital. The money used to pay the workers' wages is also working capital. And now we come to the fourth, and perhaps the most important factor of all, human capital. You see, you can have land, you can have labor, and you can have all the tools and machines. But you need knowledge, you need skill to put all these three things together in the right way to produce something useful. This knowledge, this skill, which come from education and experience, that is human capital. It's the brain behind the entire operation. So there we have it. Those are the 4 essential ingredients that we need for any kind of production. Let's do a quick recap now to put it all together neatly. Let's go over the 4 factors one last time. First, we have land, which includes all our natural resources. Second, we have labor, which is the human effort. Third is physical capital, which are the man-made items like tools and machines. And fourth, we have human capital, which is the knowledge and skill that brings everything together. And this is the central idea I want you to take away from this lesson. Every single production activity, from growing a potato in a small field to building a giant airplane, is organized by combining these 4 factors: land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. In our next explainer, we will go back to our village, Palampur, and we will see exactly how these 4 factors of production work together in its main activity, which is farming. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.